Hi, I'm Robert Vasquez, and today I'm going to be giving you an introduction to reverse mount macro photography. We're going to discuss what is reverse mount macro photography. We're going to talk about the drawbacks and the answers or solutions to those drawbacks of doing reverse mount macro photography. And we're going to discuss why you should partake in reverse mount macro photography. So check it out, there's a lot to learn. So what is reverse mount macro photography? Essentially, it's putting the lens onto your camera in reverse. So, as opposed to putting the lens on your camera like this, the way it's supposed to, you put the lens on your camera like this. But you're going to need a piece. You're going to need what's called a reverse ring. And so this is a reverse mount ring. And what it is it's got the mount, which is the side of your lens that actually mounts to your camera. It has these grooves and things. Well, this ring has those same grooves, so it's made to actually lock into your camera like so. Alright? Now, what it also has is threads on this side, like threads to thread into something, to screw onto the lens. So if you don't know, your lens has a threaded side to it where you can put in filters and things like that, and reverse mount rings. It's important to note that the wider your original focal length, the greater your magnification is going to be when you reverse mount your lens. So what you do is you get your lens, and this is the side that normally mounts to the camera. You get your reverse mount ring, and you thread it on. So sometimes this could be a little bit of a hassle, but when you get it, it's worth it. Come on, baby, come on. Come on, baby. Alright. That's not it. Alright, so there we go. So once it's threaded in, now you have two sides that can mount to your camera. You find the little dot, find your camera, and boom! So now your camera is ready to do some reverse mount macro photography. What? Can we hit it from the front? Can we hit it from the back? Break it down like that. Now, reverse mount macro photography is not the best way to do macro photography, but it is the least expensive and most attainable way for people to get into doing macro photography. It'll cost you somewhere around 10 bucks, maybe, less than 20 for sure. And you can get into doing some macro photography and open up whole new worlds. Like I said, there's going to be drawbacks to doing reverse mount photography. The reason it's 10 to 20 bucks is because there are those major drawbacks. What you notice right off the bat is that all this part of your lens is exposed when normally it's not. So you have your back element of your lens, and you have the pins that actually connect your camera. And what they do is they normally would communicate with your camera to let it know, what your aperture is, and so you can be able to use different functions on your lens. Those aren't going to be connected, and they're going to be exposed. So you don't want anything to happen to that stuff. So what you do is you make sure that you have one of these readily available, and you just put it on whenever you're not shooting. So you're ready to shoot, pop it off. Not ready to shoot, put that bad boy on. Now, with the pins being exposed to the world, they're not connected to the camera. And when they're not connected to the camera cannot talk to the lens. It can't communicate. So you cannot change your aperture from your camera, and you cannot focus from your camera. Now, there are ways around that. We can change our aperture by switching the lens back. And this works on Canons. I don't know how it works on Nikon. So, and this is a trick I developed, so I haven't seen it out in the world. So what you would do is you'd set your aperture. I have it right now on 5.6. And what I would do is I'd press the depth of field preview button. Okay, it's going to be in a different spot. On some cameras it's over here, some cameras it's right here. Even on like Canons, on the 60D it's over here. On this one it's right here. Okay, so you press the depth of field button and you'll hear it. It shuts down the lens. All right, and when it shuts down the lens, then you just unlock it. Oh, pardon me. You got to hold this button as well as press the release button and take the lens off. Now it's locked at 5.6. When you turn it around, you lock it back on. Okay? So when you do this, if you go as far as like a f/22 or so, when you look through the camera, you're gonna get a lot of darkness. Okay? It's gonna be dark. So unless you're out in really bright sunlight or so, you want to keep your aperture as wide as it could be, but to get the better depth of field, you're gonna want to go to a 5.6, 8.0, and beyond. But that's all up to you, of course. To fix the problem of focusing, so the focus is very shallow. The depth of field is going to be extremely shallow, and you'll notice, especially when you have a 2.8. So no matter what your aperture is, you are going to have a shallow depth of field. Even if you go to f8 or f22 or whatever, you're not going to have these, you know, super extended depth of fields that you would have shooting normally. They're going to be very shallow. So what you're going to do is you're going to look through your lens, and you're going to move in and out. So you're going to move towards and away from your subject in order to get it in focus. Okay. Now, shooting flowers and bugs and things is kind of the stuff you'd use, you know, this sort of setup for. I guess you can use it for anything, but you're not going to do portraits with this. Okay. You have to get extremely close to the subject. You'd have to be about an inch away to get focus, and you're going to move very, very, very subtly in and out to find your focus. So when you're looking at it, when you're looking at your subject, you're going to move in and out, and you can be shooting as you go in and out, just so you try and find that shot. You're probably going to shoot a lot of shots, and to find the very few that are going to be the perfect ones. Another drawback that I noticed when shooting was that you lose light. So I don't know why it is that you lose light when you turn the lens around, but you lose light for sure. I was noticing about 3 to 4 stops of light. So, you know, 3 to 4 complete stops of light. So that's to say that if I was shooting at, you know, a 500th of a second, then when I turned it around, I would have to shoot way slower. So I'd have to click down, you know, 3 complete stops, which is 9 clicks on most Canon cameras. So, you know, you're going to lose a lot of light, so you're going to have to slow it down, or you bump up your aperture. So if you don't want to take your shutter speed down, which you're not going to want to take your shutter speed down because the shake is pronounced. When your camera moves, it's a lot like doing telephoto. So in telephoto shooting, when the camera shakes, you get a lot of camera shake. Or if your subject is moving when you're doing the close shooting, if the subject is moving, you lose some focus. You lose a lot of focus. You catch the motion. You catch the motion of the camera, and you catch the motion of the subject. So you're going to want to shoot at a high shutter speed in order to remedy that. But like I said, you're going to lose light. So you're going to have to bump up your ISO. Find a balance in your aperture so that you can have depth of field as well as speed. And then you're going to have to shoot at the fastest possible. So there's a little bit to doing it, you know, but it's good and it's worth it to get out there and do it. And it helps you to get better in your photography, just to understand those concepts better and to see it working in action. When you do your aperture, you are going to have to do the old flipperoo if you don't have an old style lens. Some of the older style lenses have the aperture ring right on it, but you're going to see that most of the newer lenses do not have it. So especially the Canon lenses and you know, the newer cameras, you know, they just don't have it. Now, when buying your reverse mount macro lens, you're going to want to make sure that you get the right size lens. And you can find the size of your lens, the threads in your lens. You're going to find that inside of the cap on the Canon camera. So inside of the cap, it'll tell you this is a 58 millimeter. So this is a 24 millimeter lens, but the diameter of this is 58 millimeters, okay? And that's what you're going to need to know in order to get the right ring that has the correct diameter as well to fit inside of your lens. So when you buy one, make sure that you get the right size for your lens, or else you're just not going to be able to fit it, okay? If you have multiple lenses, you're going to have to buy multiple rings. So thank you for watching. I want to say what's up to my friend Moses in New York. I'm coming out sometime soon, so you know, you came out to see me, I'm gonna come out to see you. So anyhow, you know, like, comment, and share if you can. That'd be awesome. And check out my DVDs. I'm still selling them, and I'm gonna be coming out with some new cool stuff. So you know, keep your eyes peeled because it's a coming. Okay, so take care of yourselves and be good to each other. All right, peace.